Welcome to the Young and the Restless Daily Way app for a quick, and by that, I mean you're already halfway done, recap of the most amazing or what the heck did we just watch moments on today's episode. Let's get to it. On The Young and the Restless, we saw a new character, but have no idea who he is. Okay, so we have some idea. He's seemingly the assistant to the ever-elusive Aristotle Dumas. And this is the closest we've gotten to the mysterious billionaire, so we'll take it. But are there any clues in that office, anything at all to give some sort of identity? Methinks there will be. Not today, but one day the assistant will hang up the phone from Billy, Phyllis, or even Victor and say, "You've got a message," and the camera will pan to the doorway for the big reveal. Whose office is it? Who's the real Dumas? With a couple of new cast members coming this month, will they be part of the reveal? Will we be tricked into thinking Dumas is someone else, like the Damien/Holden secret? It's May sweeps, y'all. Let's get our long-awaited reveal already. Inquiring minds want to know. And yeah, I know the waiting has gone on so long some don't care anymore. But that could change when you find out their real identity. At least we know Dumas has a set. That's progress, even if we counted it in soap time. Want more details? We got you. Soap Central has the best full lie and R recaps on the internet. You can even go back over 30 years and read each and every one of them. If you can't wait until the next episode, we have daily spoilers too. And whatever you do this weekend, do not forget to read the 2 scoops for some laughs in the as close as we can come to being a watching party without actually being a show. And the best part is if you agree or disagree, we want to know. As always, share your comments below. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Pulse Canvas. It's me, Jolie here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching. So let's dive into today's video. There's nothing better than getting a new pup, but when you add 2 to your family, that just takes things to a whole new level. However, what makes it even more special is when animals are able to be rescued, and that's exactly what the Young and the Restless Jess Walton just did. She made a pair of sweet dogs very happy by giving them a forever home. The CBS soap actress posted 2 photos on her official Instagram page and shared, "Meet our tiniest family members, Suki and Sunny." She went on to introduce Suki as a 4-month-old female Chihuahua Dachshund mix and Sunny as a 1.5-year-old male that happens to be a 10-pound bundle of terrier energy. Though she wasn't sure on Sunny's breed, she stated, "Your guess is as good as mine. Not only are the pups joined at the hip," she expressed, "this rescue duo brings endless joy and is so good for me." Last month, Walton posted a throwback photo holding her other pup, Rita Hayworth, as they posed alongside the Easter Bunny. And when it comes to Rita, in March of 2024, the actress posted another adorable throwback holding the little one and shared, "Sweet little Rita Hayworth when she was a puppy. I told John we were simply fostering, but he knew I would have to keep her. Who could blame her? Just look at that face." And prior to that, Walton put up a family shot from years ago featuring Bella, Jake, Rita, and Lola, her 4 fur babies all snuggled up together. It always warms our hearts when we see pups being rescued into homes where they'll be spoiled and loved. The Young and the Restless spoilers suggest some interesting plot twists on the horizon. What should fans expect? One super couple is on the cusp of a marriage proposal, while another could break up, and 2 BFFs have a shocking reunion. Learn more about these storylines below. The Young and the Restless spoilers suggest that Adam Newman could get down on one knee very soon and ask Chelsea Lawson to marry him. It's been hinted at a lot as of late. In fact, he technically already did so to ask her to work with him at Newman Media, and even Victor Newman teased about a wedding in their future during the Tuesday, May 13 episode. Conflict and drama await Chatham as they navigate murky waters while working together at Newman. Chelsea is nervous about Adam doing Victor's bidding, and she'll be against any stories aimed at making Billy Abbott look bad. Still, she adores Adam and is happy with him. So could he pull out a proposal to help her forget about the chaos going on at work? While one couple might be walking down the aisle, another could be splitting up. Audra Charles's deal with Victor will be the very thing that blows her perfect relationship up with Nate Hastings, and it could unravel sooner than fans realize. Victor has recruited Audra to break up Kyle Abbott and Claire Newman's relationship in exchange for the cosmetic company of her dreams. As Audra is very committed to Nate, she'll aim to make Kyle look bad, without really doing anything. But fans can sense this scheme will cost her Nate in the end, especially since she is lying to him about it all. On an interesting note, Phyllis Summers is about to get the shock of her life. She's eager to meet with Aristotle Dumas, even sneakily getting his number by snooping in Billy's phone on the May 12 episode and texting the billionaire mogul. Meanwhile, her out-of-town BFF, Amanda Sinclair, is about to return to Genoa City. It sounds like Phyllis will be completely caught off guard when she sees her friend back in town and realizes that Amanda is actually Dumas's lawyer. She'll be even more stunned when her bestie remains hush-hush about Dumas' business and intentions. Could this cause a rift between Amanda and Red? Are you excited about what's to come on the Y&R? Share your thoughts. Tune into the CBS Soap Daily so you don't miss a moment of the drama, and visit this site often for the best Young and the Restless spoilers, updates, and news. Billy walks into the club and runs into Adam and Chelsea on their way out. He informs them he knows about Victor's plan to smear him in the press, and remarks that the mustache overplayed his hand by giving him an ultimatum. It's not going to happen. He tells Adam to take his best shot. They all know how much he wants to please Daddy. Adam suggests Victor knew how he'd react and is already making his next move. That's why he always loses. Victor's always 10 steps ahead of him. Billy and Adam keep sparring verbally about Victor. Billy calls him a cutthroat son of a bitch. Adam needles about the Abbott house being a shrine to John. Chelsea interjects and asks Adam to stop. Billy says his father was an honorable man and mocks Adam for the fear he must have of his old man's rejection and being banished from the kingdom. Adam's sorry his life is full of resentment, mistrust, and hatred. Billy says when it comes to him and his family, "You're damn right." Adam steps away to take a call, and Billy bets Chelsea that the phone call is marching orders to put a hit out on him. Chelsea informs Billy he's not making things better by sniping. Billy asks if she regrets getting back with Adam. Chelsea doesn't want to discuss Adam with Billy and snarks that it must be exhausting being constantly at war. Billy claims it's out of his hands most of the time. Chelsea calls this a cop-out. Billy will stay in his lane if Adam does, but Daddy's pulling the strings on Puppet Boy. Chelsea reminds him there are kids involved and asks him to be the person who stops retaliating. Billy questions Chelsea about thinking he's the reasonable one and reminds her Adam and Victor are coming after him. Chelsea doesn't believe attacking him is Adam's priority. Billy says it's Victor's priority. Does she expect him to surrender? If he doesn't fight back, they will eat him alive. This battle isn't even about him. Adam and Victor want to taint him in Dumas' eyes, so he wants nothing to do with him. Chelsea asks why. Adam says she'll have to ask her boyfriend. Adam reappears and asks what he missed. In the jazz lounge, Phyllis is sure Victor's aware that Billy's been in contact with his business rival, Aristotle Dumas. Victor asks what he has in the works. Phyllis first has to know his level of interest. She says she spoke to Summer, who is in Milan working on building Marchetti into an incredible brand. Victor spoke to her himself. They agree she's impressive and a chip off the old block. Phyllis tells the mustache he looks amazing. Victor reminds her she only has 5 minutes. What information does she have? Phyllis won't give him anything until he promises her something in return. A business opportunity for her and her son. Victor guesses she doesn't know what she wants to do. Why would he invest in something if he doesn't know what it's about? When she decides, they can talk. Phyllis shrugs that she'll just call Aristotle Dumas and says she has a direct line to him. Victor doubts it. She fumes that he's so arrogant and always in control. Victor intones that he is in control. Why does she think he is where he is? Phyllis has concrete information he can use against Dumas, something they can use against each other. She came to him out of loyalty to Summer, but she'll take this information to the highest bidder. Victor says, "You're playing me." Phyllis reminds him she's worked with Billy and has heard things. She claimed she quit. Victor heard he asked her to leave. Phyllis snaps, "It's a lie." Victor says Billy doesn't like his ultimatum, so he wants to put Dumas and Newman in competition with one another for Chancellor. He tells Phyllis he's been playing this game for a long time. Billy Abbott will always revert to old form. Get it in your head. He's a loser. Phyllis tells Victor that's only part of the information. Victor thinks she's bluffing. If there were more information, he would know about it by now. Phyllis has information that can help him with his battle against Dumas. Victor doesn't need her help and asks her to stop. He knows she's gone through a difficult time, and he wishes her the best, but don't try to play me. I don't like it. He wishes her the best with her and Daniel's business, but that's it. The next time she comes to him with a plan, she should know what she's talking about. I'm Victor Newman. I know what I'm talking about. With that, he walks away. At Nate's place, he hangs up the phone and tells Audra that Damien and Amy will be there soon. Audra says she's missed her and is glad the treatments are working. Nate agrees it will buy her more time. Audra can't wait to have her shopping buddy back. Nate reminds her she has a business to get off the ground and asks if Victor has come through with the funding yet. It becomes clear that he hasn't. Nate gets the feeling there's something about the arrangement she's not telling him. Nate's always suspicious where Victor's concerned, with good reason. Audra loves that he's looking out for her, but she's got this. I can handle Victor. Nate muses, famous last words. Audra reminds him she comes from the school of Tucker McCall, who taught her to be ruthless and unforgiving. She let her guard down with Victor before, but has learned from it. She won't let him get the better of her again. The doorbell rings and Nate greets Amy and Damien. Welcome home. Amy tells him how much it means to her to hear him call this her home. Audra hugs Amy and tells her home is where her family and friends are. She asks about her new job. Audra says it's her very own company. She'll tell her all about it at lunch tomorrow. Damien prompts Amy to rest. Amy says she feels better and more optimistic. Damien says it's all because of Nate. They go over how glad Amy is that she reached out to Nate. They tease her about being a negative Nancy. Damien recaps that he and Nate spent time getting to know each other in Boston. Amy grimaces, and Audra takes her upstairs to get settled in. Amy tells Damien and Nate, I am so very lucky. Once alone, Damien tells Nate he doesn't know where his mother would be if not for him. He asks if he has anything to get off his chest about him coming to work with him and the family. Damien tells Nate that Lily told him he has reservations about her plan. Why doesn't he like it? Nate's surprised he'd even consider it. Damien wants to know what his problem is with the plan. Nate doesn't believe it will work. Damien thinks it will. Nate asks what happens if Dumas figures out what he's up to. Damien thinks he's looking for any excuse not to have him come and work with him. What's the deal, Nate? You don't trust me. Nate blurts, I'm trying to protect you, damn it. I'm trying to protect my brother. Damien asks Nate what he's trying to protect him from. Nate says this has been a roller coaster ride for all of them, but especially for Damien. It's been a lot to take in. When Lily told him about the whole double agent idea, it sounded like too much, that's all. Damien wasn't expecting an answer like that. He's used to looking out for himself. Nate says this is new for him too, but here they are. Damien asks if he'd have a problem with him being at Winters. Nate says he trusts him. Damien's glad to hear that. Nate tells him he'd be a real asset to the company. If he decides to go ahead with the Dumas thing, that's his choice. Damien will go ahead provided the terms are right. There are some risks, but this is where he wants to be. This is where I belong, with family. Nate guesses the only thing left to say is, congratulations and welcome to the company. Amy and Audra come down the stairs, and Amy is thrilled at the news. Audra asks if Devin and Lily signed off on this. Nate says it's pretty much a done deal. He didn't want to say anything until Damien had been offered the job. Audra asks what will happen with Holden. Damien hopes that he'll take over his old job in Los Angeles. Amy's glad her son is getting away from that man he was working for. Audra marvels at how far they've all come. Amy could not be happier. This is a dream come true. At the club, Chelsea tells Adam she was telling Billy she wanted the feud to end. Billy says he told her not to get her hopes up. Chelsea and Adam say goodnight, and Billy pulls up a chair at the bar and orders a scotch. Just then, Victor saunters up and tells him the clock is ticking. Do you have an answer for me? Billy has a lot to say, but none of it is pleasant. He suggests Victor wander on home. Victor says he offered him a lifeline. Billy doesn't trust him, so his answer is no. Victor says he's making a mistake. Billy won't be blackmailed or bullied. Victor smirks. You never learn, do you? Billy says if he fails, he'll fail on his own terms. Victor mutters that he really doesn't know what's coming at him. How will his brother Jack feel about all this? Billy says it doesn't matter what he says. He won't tell him what he knows about Dumas. Billy hopes to see him stumble for a change. Victor smirks. Don't count on that. At the door, Victor pulls out his phone and calls Adam. Son, I want you to release the Billy Abbott smear campaign as soon as it is ready. In crimson lights, Adam tells Chelsea that was Victor ordering him to follow through on the attack. Chelsea reminds him he said he wasn't going to do it. Adam will handle it his way. She complains that he was fighting with Billy earlier and asks, "What are you going to do?" Adam replies, "I can't tell you yet." Chelsea says this sounds very familiar. It's everything she didn't want to be a part of. Adam insists he has everything under control. All she has to do is trust him to handle it. Can you do that for me? In the jazz lounge, Phyllis calls the phone number for Aristotle Dumas and gets Dumas' assistant. She wants to speak to Dumas right away. It has to do with a business venture with Billy Abbott and also Victor Newman. She has some information that might be beneficial. Can you just get him on the line right away? The assistant offers to pass her information on to Mr. Dumas. She wants to speak to him. The man says he'll let him know she called and hangs up. Phyllis hyperventilates. "Oak, Phyllis, you're down but you're not out. You're never out. You'll figure something out." The Young and the Restless spoilers note that Phyllis Summers has had a rough go as of late. Not only have her attempts to reunite with exes, Danny Romalotti and Billy Abbott, failed miserably, but her daughter-in-law, Heather Stevens, was brutally murdered, and she was recently kidnapped by sociopath Martin Laurent. Phyllis deserves some sort of silver lining in her life. So will it come in the form of a massive whirlwind romance? Aristotle Dumas is bound to show his face at some point soon. The fact that Phyllis reached out to him during the Wednesday, May 13 episode after getting his number off Billy Abbott's phone seems to hint that Dumas and Phyllis will be in each other's orbits. The Young and the Restless spoilers suggest that Amanda Sinclair is slated to return in the days ahead, and she'll swing back to town as the official lawyer to Dumas. This is interesting since Phyllis and Amanda are BFS. It is said that Amanda will remain hush-hush about Aristotle and his business, which may have Phyllis that much more intrigued. Whether you love or hate her, the truth is, Phyllis deserves a fun romance for a change. She never does well in love triangles, and the last few rounds of these types of storylines have had Phyllis on the bottom rung of the equation. She watched Danny choose Christine Blair over her, and more recently, Billy chose Sally Spectra. Even though the love triangle didn't get that far, Sally did take Phyllis's role at Abbott Communications when she was fired. It's time that Phyllis gets involved in a romance where there's only her and said leading man in the mix. Will Aristotle Dumas, a billionaire mogul, be the one to charm the socks off Red? It's been months of speculation since young and restless viewers first heard the name Aristotle Dumas, who we quickly learned was not an alias for Damian Kane, but rather his reclusive and powerful boss who was pulling the strings behind the scenes. Now, finally, the soap has signaled that we're one step closer to finding out the mogul's true identity by introducing someone who works very closely with him. We're not referring to Amanda Sinclair, although that returning character, played by Michelle Morgan, may very well turn out to be his trusted attorney. Instead, the person who is about to be seen on the canvas for the first time is Dumas' assistant, Carter, who will be played by Vincent Stalba, according to Soap Opera Digest. Teeny tiny spoiler alert Carter makes his debut on Wednesday, May 14, when Michelle Stafford's Phyllis gets a hold of Dumas' phone number and attempts to connect with him. Carter, young and restless fans will learn, is a gatekeeper type who will prove to be a frustrating hurdle for the determined redhead to overcome. None of that should come as a surprise, however, given how closely Dumas protects his/her true identity. We're certain the Aristotle reveal is just around the corner, perhaps at the end of May's sweeps, creating a sense of anticipation, even though we already know how Dumas' story ends. In the meantime, Carter will work to keep inquisitive Genoa City residents at bay for as long as required. Everyone on The Young and the Restless is all abuzz over the mysterious Aristotle Dumas. Lily suggested that Damian be a mole for them with him. Phyllis called the guy's office and asked to be put through, because everyone wants to talk to Phyllis. And Victor mumbled something to Billy about him and how he's willing to be nicer to Billy if Billy spills his guts about Dumas, and Billy told Victor to go take a long walk off a short pier. But something Victor said on the May 14 episode made us think, did Y and R just drop a major clue about who Dumas might really be? When Victor was trying to get Billy's goat, he wondered what Jack, who is bankrolling Billy's new venture, would say about Billy turning down Victor's generous offer to take it easy on Billy. Jack does stand to lose quite a bit when Billy inevitably goes down in flames, yet again. But what if Billy doesn't? What if Billy actually succeeds this time, thanks to the interventions of Aristotle Dumas, which makes it kind of obvious that Aristotle Dumas could be Jack. Let's follow the clues. Dumas is rich. Dumas is rich and hiding his real identity. Dumas is rich and hiding his identity and reached out of the blue, to Billy Abbott. What successful billionaire would reach out of the blue, to Billy Abbott? Only one who wanted to help his little brother pull himself together, and since Billy refused to rake advice from Jack, Billy is happy to take Jack's money, but he throws a temper tantrum if Jack so much as suggested he doesn't think Billy is a big boy who can run a big company on his own. Then Jack was forced to make up this mystery personal so he can guide Billy into losing Jack's investment, or his face to Victor. Sure does explain why Jack wouldn't want to take a phone call from a desperate and hysterical Phyllis calling for Dumas. Then the jig would be up. But is it only, in fact, just beginning? There's never a dull moment when the Newman ladies are together. For the Thursday, May 15 episode of The Young and the Restless, spoilers photos show Claire spending time with her mother and grandmother at the Newman Ranch. Claire may be slightly at odds with her grandpa, but she's not letting that stop her from impressing her grandmother. She meets up with Nikki and Victoria at the Newman Ranch to go over some paperwork and have a pretty serious conversation. Will the topic of her and Kyle come up? Oh, we're almost sure of it. Claire may be a full-grown adult, but that doesn't stop the Newmans from worrying about her. Sure, she came to town to scheme against them, and even set them up to be taken out by Jordan. But that was then, this is now, and lately, the women in her family have noticed just how naive and innocent Claire really is. Claire may not be able to combat her family's growing concerns, but what she can do is put her best foot forward in her personal and professional life, and stand on her own 2 feet. Will she show them all she's just as much of a powerhouse as they are? The Young and the Restless recap for Wednesday. May 14 sees Phyllis make a bold move, Victor play hardball, and Chelsea start having second thoughts. Phyllis lured Victor to the jazz lounge, dangling a juicy tidbit, intel on what Billy was plotting with Dumas, but Victor wasn't biting. Phyllis tried flattery, tried dangling Summer's name, even tried bargaining for a business opportunity for herself and Daniel, in exchange for what she claimed was a direct line to Dumas. Victor reminded her of who she was talking to. "I'm Victor Newman. I know exactly what the hell I'm talking about," he said before walking away without making a deal. Still, Phyllis wasn't finished. She picked up her phone and called Dumas's office directly, asking to speak to him. The assistant hung up with a vague, "I'll let him know," and Phyllis reminded herself she's down, but not out. At the GCAC, Billy crossed paths with Adam and Chelsea. He made it clear he knew Victor's plan to smear him in the press and had no intention of rolling over. Billy tossed barbs, and Adam coolly warned him that the Newmans were always one step ahead. Chelsea tried to be the buffer. After Adam left, Chelsea begged Billy to stop retaliating, pointing out that the feud was bigger than him. It was Victor and Dumas using him like a pawn. Billy agreed that Dumas was the real issue, but wasn't backing down. When Adam returned, Billy backed off, but only temporarily. Later, Victor himself showed up at the GCAC to taunt Billy, reminding him that the clock was ticking. Billy turned him down flat, declaring he'd rather fail on his own terms than be bullied. Victor called Adam and gave the green light, released the smear campaign. Back at Crimson Lights, Chelsea overheard Adam talking to his father. Though he claimed the campaign was still on hold, he couldn't give her a straight answer. She asked him plainly, could she trust him? He said yes. Meanwhile, Nate and Audra waited at the penthouse for Amy's return. Audra was excited to have her shopping buddy back, but she still hadn't secured Victor's funding for Vibrant. Nate picked up on her evasiveness and she deflected. She learned the ruthless game from Tucker after all. Amy and Damien arrived, and it was clear Amy felt at home again. She said she was finally feeling better, and the family teased her about being a negative Nancy when they first met. When she got a little faint, Audra helped her upstairs, and Damien stayed behind to talk with Nate. Damien brought up Lily's offer and asked if Nate had an issue with him joining the company. Nate admitted he was worried about the double agent scheme. It was a lot for his brother to take on, but Damien insisted this was where he wanted to be. The brothers shook hands, and Nate officially welcomed him to the company. When Audra and Amy returned, she was thrilled to hear Damien was joining the family business. It was all starting to feel like a win-win, at least on the surface. Back at the GCAC, Victor wasn't done. He approached Adam and Chelsea, congratulated her on joining the company, and ordered drinks for a toast. When he asked if they were engaged yet, it was awkward. As soon as he walked away, Chelsea looked at Adam and asked the question that had been building all day. "Tell me I'm not making a deal with the devil." Holden tries to bluff Audra. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Thursday, May 15, continue to try to make us believe that grown-ups Claire and Kyle need family permission to move in together or even to see each other. Diane and Jack worry. Nikki is unimpressed. We're still confused why Victor was okay with Summer marrying Kyle, but is losing his mumbling mind at the idea of Claire even being in the same room with Kyle, much less moving in with him. Diane and Jack, on the other hand, were supportive of Kyle and Summer. But now that Kyle is with Claire, they're wondering if their son just isn't making the same mistake all over again. He couldn't make it work with one of Victor's blonde granddaughters. What makes him think he'll succeed with another? Claire thought she, at least, had her grandma Nikki's support for Claire's relationship with Kyle. But Victor has gotten to her too. After all, Nikki hasn't married Victor a half-dozen times because she doesn't want to be told what to do or how to think about things. Victor has got Nikki on board to urge Claire to slow her roll where Kyle is concerned and table their plans to move in together. But Claire is still convinced she can prove to her grandma what a great pair Claire and Kyle make. So just watch me, Grandma, watch me, watch me. Audra thought she had Holden under control. But Holden is not a rollover and do what the lady says kind of guy. So when Audra makes a demand, Holden calls her bluff. Maria's secret could land her in prison on Why, and our Maria's secret is a major storyline currently on The Young and the Restless. Whatever Maria is hiding, she doesn't want her wife, Tessa, to find out. Speculation is that she cheated on Tessa, however. Maria might have done something much worse. Something happened on Maria's recent business trip that has her acting strange. So far, the only details known about her secret is she got drunk and did something she regrets. Maria made it clear that Tessa can never know what she did. Of course, fans immediately jumped to the conclusion that Maria cheated again. But a shocking plot twist could have Maria facing prison time. Maria's been going through a difficult time in recent months because of Ian. The cult leader's reappearance in Genoa City reopened old wounds for Maria. Although Ian is now gone, she's still haunted by the trauma he inflicted on her. During Maria's trip, she could have had a few drinks to calm her nerves. A fellow bar patron might have harassed her, leading to flashbacks of her time in Ian's cult. In a moment of rage, Maria accidentally killed the person, then fled the scene of the crime. Another theory is that Maria's trip was for a different type of business. Although Ian was declared dead, Maria could have discovered he was alive and tracked him down. To make sure he never hurts her or her family again, Maria killed Ian. Yet, instead of feeling relief, she feels guilty for taking a life and realizes the ramifications of her actions. Tessa finding out Maria committed murder, especially if it was Ian, would cause issues for the couple. With Maria facing a possible prison sentence, it's going to be stressful for Taraya. While Tessa wants to support Maria, she can't help but be angry at her wife for ruining their lives.